Welcome back, part 4 of the series on the Chapin book. Once again, I highly recommend that you have a copy of this book as you're following along with the videos, and if this is something you're interested in and you want to follow along with these videos, but this is the first one that you've come across, make sure you go back to part 1. You can find it in my video feed, and again, grab your copy and follow along. So for part 4 today, we're starting off on pages 9 and 10. And I'm just going to quickly read this section here. This is Melodic Exercises 1A. Interspersed throughout this volume are exercises based on familiar jazz melodies. These were chosen for their rhythmic patterns and are graduated in difficulty to correspond with the more academic exercises that precede them. They are designed to test the student's skill in phrasing smoothly and should be practiced with this in mind. So in layman's terms, what we're now doing is trying to basically take a progression of what we've done to this point, starting off in the first few pages, doing single bar exercises, leading up to a few more variances of those single bar exercises. Then in part 3, we went through a solo, which is basically trying to put a lot of those different individual bars in separate orders. And now we're getting to basically a melodic context. So I'm not going to be able to identify all of these, but if you try playing these yourself, and again, just listening to how I perform these in this video, you'll hear that all of these patterns that we're going to play in this section are all based on some sort of swing, big band, or bebop or jazz melody. One of the aspects of being able to comp is that you're not necessarily always playing at random. And in fact, really, you should never just kind of be playing at random. Everything has a context, and I think one of the most important things about a section like this is learning how you can incorporate melodic context into drumming, or namely in this focus, jazz drumming, bebop playing. So I urge you to look as you play through this, and again, watching me perform it, how these parts have a theme to them, how they essentially act in ways that there are sort of their own little sub patterns within them. All in all, you should be able to hear a melody as you play them. And hopefully that will also not just help you develop your independence by playing the exercises, but it's going to help you become a better drummer and a better musician from the standpoint of understanding musical context. Now, obviously, this will be something that will come in to play later on as you develop a lot of these traits and a lot of these abilities, but I feel like this is the building blocks. Along with this, though, I always recommend for any of my students that are working through this book or any of the different types of jazz exercises that I tend to work on with them, you've got to be listening to jazz. So if you've got Spotify, I think one of the best things to do is just find a jazz playlist just to get started. If you're not familiar with, maybe what styles of jazz to check out, maybe just, check out a lot of the big names in jazz, Miles Davis, Sonny Rollins, John Coltrane, Charlie Parker. Check out those artists, and you can basically start from there. I always recommend anybody who's never really listened to jazz, one of the first albums you should always probably listen to just to get started is Miles Davis's Kind of Blue album. It's a very easy album to digest. It's based on the concept of modal jazz, which I'm not going to get into, but somebody else can do that for you if you want to YouTube a different video or Google it. And essentially, you got to listen to the music in order to play it. No different than you can tell somebody that's never really listened to, or actually even better, you can tell somebody that they might have learned a language through reading and writing and through taking a course, but if you've never gone to the country of the language that you're trying to speak, I don't think it fully gets absorbed at that point. So same with this. This is, again, us learning how to jog briskly, to use my metaphor from my last video. And all in all, it's still going to challenge you independently or based on your coordinated independence. But without further ado, grab your copy and follow along, page 9 and 10. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.